What's up, friends? Do you ever crave something for dinner that's just like carby and cheesy and yummy and salty and naughty and delicious? Well, that's kind of where we're at tonight. So I am making shrimp carbonara for dinner. It's got bacon, butter, shrimp, pasta, cheese, all the deliciousness that you want when you want a little comfort food that's still super yummy. So there's a lot of prep involved because the actual recipe comes together really quick. So we're gonna get through things prepped here and then we're gonna throw it all together and I'm gonna show you how. A couple things that you can get prepped ahead of time is you're gonna want one egg at room temperature. So instead of waiting for it to come to room temperature, I put my egg in just a little bit of kind of warm water, not hot, just warm water, and it will warm the egg up enough to be at room temperature. That just helps it break down in your sauce a lot easier. This is my least favorite kitchen job, shredding cheese, but we do it because it is way better. So you need about 1/3 cup of Parmesan cheese. When you're buying Parmesan cheese, always try to buy something that looks like this. It's probably gonna have some like words stamped on it. It's gonna have a rind and it's gonna look kind of old and craggy. That's gonna be really good Parmesan cheese and it makes a huge difference in your dishes. So grate up about 1/3 cup of Parmesan cheese. You need 6 tablespoons of butter at room temperature or close to it. Then we're gonna measure out some of the spices. You need about 1/2 teaspoon of red pepper flakes or just kind of to your spice level desires. Then we just need about 1/4 teaspoon of kosher salt, not much because the bacon's gonna be salty and the Parmesan cheese is gonna be salty. You need about 1/3 cup of parsley, and I'm just going to eyeball this one as well. We're gonna get as close as we can. Just a little bunch there. Chop that up really fine and then pop it in a bowl and put it to the side. This shrimp carbonara is garlicky, so if you like garlic, this is gonna be where it's at. It calls for 6 cloves of garlic. My garlic cloves are enormous, so I'm just gonna do four cloves of garlic for this recipe. I'm gonna smash them and then I'm gonna chop them and mince them up really fine. Before we get to the bacon, my salted water is boiling, so I'm gonna go ahead and cook my pasta. You need about 12 ounces of usually linguine, but I happen to have bucatini in my pantry. I love bucatini. It's basically like a really thick spaghetti that has a hole in the center of it. So I think this is gonna be perfect for my carb in the shrimp carbonara. You are going to need to reserve some of the starchy pasta cooking water. So here is one of my favorite kitchen tips. When you put your colander in the sink to drain the pasta, put a measuring cup or a liquid measuring cup in the colander. That way, even if you do forget to reserve your pasta water, some of that pasta water is going to pour in there and you will have it reserved. Finally, we got to get to that carbonara. You're going to need 6 slices of bacon, and we are going to saute that up nice and crispy. But what I like to do, instead of sauteing it in strips, I cut it up into little pieces and then saute it. All right, now that we've got all of the ingredients prepped, this is probably going to be a step that you're not expecting. We're actually going to create the egg and butter and cheese sauce in the food processor. You're gonna add your 1 egg at room temperature, those garlic cloves that you minced up, the Parmesan cheese that you grated, the kosher salt and the red pepper flakes, and finally those 6 tablespoons of butter. Pop the lid on and you're gonna blend it for about 15 to 20 seconds until it's kind of creamy and all mixed together. You may need to stop once in a while and scrape the sides down just to make sure that all of the bits get down into the sauce. All right, so here is the butter mixture. Are you ready to see it? That is gonna be your sauce. Don't worry if it looks a little curly or a little weird. It's all gonna melt into that warm pasta when we get everything together in the skillet. Now it's time to put it all together. I've got the bacon in here and it's getting all crispy and yummy. I'm gonna pop you guys overhead so you can kind of see how this all comes together. All right, this is looking really good and crispy. So I'm gonna remove this bacon to a paper towel lined plate, but I'm gonna reserve about 2 tablespoons of bacon grease in there because we're gonna cook the shrimp in the bacon grease. We need about 3/4 of a pound of peeled, deveined raw shrimp. And we're gonna cook it for about 3 to 4 minutes, just until it gets nice and pink. This shrimp is cooked perfectly, so I'm gonna remove it to the plate with the bacon. Now it's all gonna come together. We're gonna start with about 1/4 cup of the starchy pasta cooking water. Then we're gonna add in the pasta that we cooked. We're gonna top that with that butter, cheese, and garlic mixture. A little bit of parsley. And finally, all of that bacon and shrimp. Now we're gonna take some tongs and make sure that everything gets coated in that butter and garlic and Parmesan cheese sauce. This is exactly what I wanted for dinner. I cannot wait to eat this. I think I might have a bite right now. It is creamy and buttery and cheesy and garlicky and salty and carby and all the delicious things. I'm gonna grab a fork and eat it right out of the pan. I hope that you make this recipe. You can find the full printable recipe on the website momsdinner.net. Bon appetit. Or I should say, mangiamo.